people. Today we're going to talk about, is your LLC naked? Are you protected? Do you have a holding company structure? I should say, if you're not interested in that stuff, don't watch this video. It's just going to be pointless. But if you're looking to make money, if you're looking to protect money, if you're looking to learn the secrets of billionaires, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, especially Donald Trump, he goes crazy on this stuff, pay attention. Once again, if you ain't trying to make some money, if you're not positioning yourself to make some money, don't watch this video. All you're going to do is be mad because you're going to start off with the pity party like, oh, I got to do all that. I got to do all that, man. I just want Big Booty Betty. All right. So we're going to jump straight into the content. If you don't know who I am, Glendon Cameron, founder of Every Man is a Millionaire. And I have two training platforms. And what we do here is educate people on how to start real businesses. No, you're not going to be a millionaire in a few weeks or a few months. It's going to take you years, but we can get you a good hustle going where you can make some money immediately and then build your business, which leads us up to the naked holding companies and the naked LLCs. We have many people out here who are unprotected and they don't know it. Go below, check out the description. I break it down for you. Here's the sad truth. Most businesses don't make a lot of money. And if you don't make a lot of money, $75,000 is what most businesses make. Under 75K. Not too many folks are going to be messing with you. But when you start getting up into the 200s, the 300s, the millions, you become a target. And the worst time to find out if your holding company, your legal structure is bulletproof is when someone is shooting at you. If it is, you live. If it ain't, you die. And I'm going to teach you how people pierce the corporate veil. The first thing is, when you're setting up your holding company and LLC structure, you should set up a holding company, and through that holding company, you should form an operating company, what I like to call baby LLCs. Now, why do you do that? Remember Trump Essential Consultants? That's what you call a shell company. What is happening now is law enforcement and courts are looking at shell companies very suspiciously. Let's say you went out and you created a regular LLC and you just put basic articles of organization. Nothing really specific, very vague. Then let's say your business does really well. You get sued. And then you like, I got an LLC, baby, I'm protected. And then you hear that judge say, you have a disregarded entity. There's really no articles of organization here, so there's no separation between you and this LLC, so now they can come after your assets. This is happening all of the time. This is happening all across the country because there are many people who are creating LLCs, but they don't know what they're doing. And when you go to an attorney and say, hey, Larry, the lawyer, set me up one, Larry's just going to take your money. $500, $600, he's going to set you up a shell corporation unless you know the questions to ask, unless you know what you're trying to accomplish. Shell companies are being invalidated, pierced every day. And typically, once again, the good news is if you ain't making any money, you're not getting sued. And this is most people. Most people are not making any money with their business, their LLC, so they're good to go. But if you want to be smarter than the average bear, if you want to make some money, I got a problem right now, and I'm going to discuss my problem with you. I got to start taking money out of this company. Yep, it's time, because it's getting to the point where I've deducted everything I've deducted, and I got to start taking money out the company. It's a good problem to have. I know, first world problems, cry me a river. But How I take that money out the company is very, very, very important. It's extremely important because let's say you have an LLC, you have a business, and then you are just taking your business money and paying your bills and buying groceries and stuff on the corporate debt, the credit card. All right. You know what you've done, right? You yourself have pierced the corporate veil. So this is why you need to have a separate business checking account. And this is why you need to have a separate personal checking account. Because if you're, this is called commingling of funds. So if you get sued and they go to the bank, or they do what's called discovery, where you got to go in and provide documents and stuff, and they find out that, you know, that your cell phone, which is in your name, you've been paying that bill for 3 years. Corporate veil pierced. It's just that simple. Now, what many people fail to understand is getting proper corporate education is expensive. And I'm going to tell you why it's expensive. It is intentionally put out of reach of the average man to keep people from messing it up. Let's say I went ahead and did a series of free videos going from A to Z, telling you every nuance, everything that you needed to do to set up your corporations, to set up your LLC, set up your holding companies. What will happen is you would have people who would not follow instructions, who would do it haphazardly, and then they would change the laws. So the good stuff, the best stuff, is intentionally put out of the reach of the masses to keep it going. And I'm not going to, well, actually, there's a lot of people here on YouTube who are doing businesses on trust, doing videos on trust, holding companies and such. And I've watched a lot of them, and they're not dropping any of that stuff. And I think because they don't know, but they're not really dropping the good stuff. And part of one of the things that I wanted to do with this, because this is something that I sent out, but this is in the description. The express purpose of this webinar is to give you information to be dangerous. Yes, dangerous. This is the same strategy that Donald Trump, the Koch brothers, Warren Buffett, and all billionaires and many millionaires use to protect their wealth and make money. So you got to pay for this information. I know there are many of you who will tune off this video and move on. And I wish you the best. I hope you live a long life. I hope you make some money. Chances are you probably won't. But anyway, so what is the proper, why do you need a holding company and an LLC? And I'm about to dig into this sole proprietor stuff. Matter of fact, let's just jump into the sole proprietor stuff right now. If you have a sole proprietorship, there is no separation between you and your business. So if you get sued, all of your assets are wide open. Everything, your car, your bank accounts, your house, your kid's college fund, your 401k, all of that is wide open to be seized, taken, and reduced. So anyone who is just on this sole proprietor kick, you probably don't want to watch this video because you are where you are. You're not going to really get to the point where you can make the big money. And I'm going to explain to you how you can make the big money. By having this holding company and then having an operating company, which is formulated through the holding company, you make yourself look like a real business. And it becomes harder to pierce the corporate veil because it's like, whoa, here's this holding company with specific articles of organization, and there's this operating company with specific articles of organization. So, this is, you got to be specific, because when you're having all these naked shell companies, these naked holding companies, if you hit a good lick and you start making some money, and then at the 11th hour, you're in that courtroom feeling confident, and you hear that judge say those words, You cannot go back and fix stuff until that lawsuit is over. And that can literally cost you a grip. Had a friend. Years ago, I told him how to do this stuff. We were like, we doing gang signs and everything. We were that cool. And he didn't think, he told me, he said, look, dude, he had an education. He had a college degree. His wife had a college degree. He was listening to me. He talked to his wife, and he's like, yeah, man, I don't know. I said, hey, cool. So he gets divorced. She takes more than half. She puts him in a situation where his retirement is wiped out because he had to cash in his 401k and sell part of his company to pay her. The one who was whispering in his ear 7 years prior that don't listen to that uneducated Neanderthal that you call a friend. And when it happened, I didn't say anything. And he was like, I should have listened to you. It is, because the thing is, as long as you're making no money, this stuff don't matter. It doesn't. It's just, it makes no sense. But if you start making over 150K and you start, because see, this is when your banker's going to start looking at your account. When you got 20, 30K going through a month, they're going to start looking at you. They're going to start like, hey, Mr. Cameron, when you get to 50K, they're going to start sending you stuff, 50K per month. When you get to 100K a month, they're going to call you in. They're going to start offering you stuff. They may offer you loans, all this other stuff. All this stuff, each level, it gets activated. And each level, your risk goes up. Your risk gets to be substantial. And the way that your companies are set up from jump, you can't go back and reset them up in times of trouble. If, like right now, let's say you have a jacked up holding company or a naked company or a shell company, and if you were to go in right now and to fix this, you could prevent calamity. You could prevent disaster. But I keep preaching this. This is things you need to do before it begins raining. You need to build your ark before it begins raining. Because for those of you who will go on and create successful businesses and profitable businesses, people going to come out the woodwork on you. You're going to have folks who you thought were friends. I got another story for you. This is a friend who is a creative, and he was working on a project. And during this project, he had a friend who was in his workshop handing him tools. Well, a lot of money started to come in. And his friend was like, well, I deserve half. I was there. They fall out. Friend sues him. Friend wins. Friend sues him. The friend did something because, dude was like, I'll throw 20K at you. No, I won't have. See, people understand intuitively that making a lot of money is hard. I know here on the internet, people throw around millions like, Swiss Beats said on Vlad, like it's just here in this drawer. Making $1 million in 1 year is hard. Not a lot of people do that. Doing it year after year after year. I did not get to that point until, because 2010, 11, 2009, 2010, I did it in 2011. Then I fell off. Then I popped back up. Then I fell off again. And then last year I did it. And this year I'm not going to do it. Nope, ain't going to happen. But I reset my business. Shit's hard. Don't believe what people tell you. Don't think that because you see it on the internet, you see many people who pretend that they're doing it. They pretend that they ain't doing it. That it's so easy. It's just not. It's really not. Now, part of this thing is once you make it, you have to protect it. And the protection starts before you make it. This is something that my business partner, rest in peace, Francine, taught me. She's like, this has got to happen on the front end, not the back end, not the back end. Because once you've made the money, certain laws are triggered, like real estate. I'll give you some real estate game. Let's say you've got some properties, right? But you got a high income. Let's say you have an e-commerce business, you have some properties. But because you're not a full-time investor, you can't take those deductions that a full-time investor could. And that could be substantial. Happened to another one of my friends. He's in e-commerce. He got all this real estate. He had losses because his AGI was over 150. He couldn't take none of that stuff. None of it. So, it's a lot to it. And this isn't something that you're going to get in one conversation or two conversations or getting on the phone and talking to someone for 30 minutes. This is something that you have to sit down and really think about where you're going, what you want to do, how you want to set it up, how you want to lay it out. That's one of the things, because these naked holding companies are like ticking time bombs. How many of y'all watch Grey's Anatomy? I was watching this, and there was this one episode where these two fools created a homemade bazooka and then shot it, and the bomb went into one of the guys, and he's in the hospital, and his paramedic was holding the bomb. She was actually trying to stop him from bleeding out, so she was holding on, but her hand was near the bomb. She freaked out. She pulled her hand out and left. Then the doctor put her hand in there. They get the bomb out. The bomb squad's walking down the hall with it. And like 15 seconds later, it explodes and obliterates the bomb star guy. That's kind of how these LLCs are. They're ticking time bombs. And until you get active and you set your stuff up, then yeah, it could blow up on you. So let's talk about plans, because I was having this conversation with this CPA this weekend, and we were talking about real estate. And I was like, well, I am buying a house in my company name. And she was just like, well, yeah. But the thing is, Glendale, that's what she called me. She called me Glendale. You're not going to be able to depreciate that really quickly, because you're going to be able to depreciate it over 27 years. So if I was your accountant, then I would recommend that you not buy the house in your company unless you get it a mortgage or something instead of paying cash. And I say, well, let me whisper in your ear. She's blown away, because what I'm going to do to make you dangerous is I'm going to drop this stuff in the course. I'm not giving it away. Let's just be real clear about that. I'm not giving it away, because I have many people who don't understand that you must have thirst for this knowledge. You must have the ability to sacrifice if you need to be. You got to be hungry for it, because you know the story. I gave all these courses away for free. 95% of the people didn't even crack them open. So people don't respect free. They don't even respect low prices. You know how I could prove this to you? How many of you know of someone that has a fancy car? Maybe a Lambo, a Porsche, or an old classic. They don't even drive that car in the rain. $150, $200, $300, $400,000 car. They don't even drive it in the rain. But this Prius that they got for little nut, they drive in it. They have the dogs in it. They throw stuff in it. It gets a dent in it. They're like, oh, well, it's cheap. That's how people treat cheap stuff. There's no high regard for it. But you've got people who will spend $150,000, $300,000, $400,000 on a car that they only drive on the weekends because they respect it. So with that, some of the stuff that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to get into the whole how I'm going to lay it out, is There are many of you who are in situations where if you had a proper holding company and an LLC doing just what you are right now, you could save 5 or 10K off your taxes without adding anything or making any more money. The LLC game is a paper game. It's a structure game. Because what I'm going to do is set off a series of webinars. It's probably going to be 5 of them because it's too much information just to do in one webinar. I can't talk that long. But I'm going to give you the game where you can set up a business within your household where you can save you some money. Now, why do we want to do this? Most people don't have a lot of money. So we got to get you some money. We got to set it up where you can have some money. We got to set it up where you can now have excess. And before that, we got to put you on the budget. Because so many people, and I think we're going on a recession. I think we're 15 months out from one. 15, 16 months. And if you're not in a position to take advantage of this recession, yes, take advantage. It's just going to pass you by and your situation is going to get worse. Your situation is going to be more dark. It's going to be more lack worthy of anything. Because a big part of this is these secrets, this esoteric information is not that hard to deploy if you know the sequence, because that's a part of it. It's a certain sequence, because if you do it out of order, it doesn't work. It just simply doesn't work. And you got a lot of people out there who've done it out of order, and they're trying to save money, which is in direct conflict with an abundance mindset. Here you over here tripping over dimes, but you're walking all over dollars. Because I had this conversation with another friend, because like I said, I spend a G for compliance a year just on administration fees for all the stuff I have. And this is like $1,000 a year. Yeah. That's a lot of money, man, just for nothing. It ain't for nothing. And that's part of why I'm going to educate you on why this is important, because many people don't see that as important because it seems like it's nothing. Like car insurance. Most people wouldn't have car insurance if they did not legally mandate it. Most people would not have health insurance if it wasn't legally mandated. It just wouldn't, because it can't see the value in spending money, time on something right now that you can't use right now, which is very short-sighted, but this is just how people are. So what we're going to do is go through the history of this and give you the game, because let me tell you some of the stuff you can do when you have this proper setup. Let's say you set up something for your kids. It's 30 years in the future. You 80, 90 years old. You got the grandkids. Then your son or daughter gets divorced because you made these decisions way back when, and anything that you give them is considered a gift, and that is not part of any divorce. Let me say this again. Ain't part of any divorce. These trust fund babies. One of the trust fund babies I was dating, she got divorced. Her ex, he couldn't get a trust fund. It was off guards. It was out of bounds. And he was pissed because she used to get cut check $35K a month. And she wanted a house. She'd just go to her trustee and like, look, I want a house. He write a check. Dude wanted half because he was married to her. Couldn't get it. See, the lack of abundance game is why so many of us, and I say us because I used to be like that. You know the story. I'm going to get my check because I don't have any money, and I run out of gas because my car, which is an old car, gas needle's not working, and me and my daughter are walking down 75. This is what happens when you get in this trap. You work, you put in overtime, you work harder. And as hard as you work, you just can't get out of it. I don't care what you do. I was working 3 jobs, full-time job, part-time job, PRN. PRN as needed. They would call me in. I would call them. Do you have work? Still couldn't get it. It's kind of like trying to outwork a bad diet. Regardless of how hard you work out, 3 cookies with 300 calories each will just blow up your whole plan. And this is the same thing with money. Unless you put yourself on a financial diet, a regular consumption plan that's within your money, you'll always be chasing that dollar. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff in here. And I said what I said at the beginning of the stream to run people off, because this will not be quick. But 5 years from now, you're making 6 figures, possibly 7. You don't have no debt. You drive what you want to drive. You live where you want to live. To me, that's worth it. And I say the time because it will take some time, but you got to set the stuff up today to get to tomorrow. This is where a lot of people get it twisted. And I'm going to tell you something. This whole Kylie, because let me see. She still ain't responded to my question. Still ain't responded. I know she heard me. Not one receipt on this, because this is the thing. Yes, you can start a hustle and start making money quick, but you ain't going to scale up that business quick. Glossier, she had her blog developing her article, her audience for 3 years. No money was made. No money. Then she took her data to an investment person. They stroked her $1 million check. First year in business, she sells out. Second year, she sells out. So she was on a 7-8 year journey to get to her millions. I think the company is valued at $100 million. But for 4 years, she didn't make no money. She had to work her job. But see, this is where people are. They're like that, like I used to be. If it ain't in my hand, I don't want to talk about it. If I ain't going to see it Friday, miss me with that. I need my money now. I didn't understand until I was regurgitated out the matrix and had all of my upbringing rearranged. I was reprogrammed. I'm going to do a video on that. I was totally reprogrammed. And then from 2000 to 2009, I made more money from 2000 to 2009 than I did in the previous time before. It's about reprogramming. It's about looking at how you do these things differently. But if you have a naked holding company, chances are, if it wasn't professionally done, there's a lot of really good professionals out there who know what they're doing, but it ain't going to be cheap. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of that stuff coming out of LegalZoom is garbage. In my opinion, it is garbage. And why do they do this? Just like I referenced with the website hosting. They know you are not going to blow up, so they can sell it to you. But the minute you start blowing up, stuff starts happening. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Right below the video, you have 2 options. Because this is included. Everyone that got into Hustler Undergrad, you get this. This is part of Hustler Undergrad. You don't have to email me. You're going to get it. You already have it in your purchase, in your course selection. It's already there. I went ahead and went into the Millionaire Toolkit. I renamed it The Art of Holding Companies. I took some stuff out, and I'm going to add these 5, possibly 6 webinars telling you exactly what to do, because I had some people who signed up, and I was like, don't do anything until we have the webinars. Don't mess with anything. Look, learn, but don't do nothing. Don't. So there's going to be 5 webinars, and we're going to talk about how you can use the power of LLCs to change your life. Protect your money from evil baby mamas. They're evil, because if they were right, y'all wouldn't be beefing. Protect your money from creditors. Protect your money from yourself. And teach you exactly what, because like I said, I got to start taking money out of the company, but I'm not going to take money in the form of a regular paycheck. Not doing that. Doing something way different that I was telling the CPA about. Her head exploded, and she was like, once she started to connect the dots, she's like, oh my God, that will work and it's legal. But see, they're not trained to think like a hustler. So you got a hustler. A hustler is going to see the angles. So you take the hustler mindset, get it? Hustler mindset. Then you wed it with solid business principles. It's the best of both worlds. So that's what's going to happen. So once again, you can get into now. Hustler undergrad is $290 per month for 20 months. Less than what you would pay for a semester of traditional schooling. And you'll also be making money while you're actually going to school. We used to call that a cooperative education. Or if you don't want that, you can get the Art of Holding Companies. I made it affordable. $99.99 for 15 months. So that's $1,500 for 15 months. Now, once I start the webinars, that price is going to change. And I had the first webinar slated for August 30th, 2 p.m. I'm going to move that up. I will let you know when I'm going to do that. But what we're going to do for all you folks with jobs who is like, how can I squeeze some more money out of my job? This will be for you. And for all of you who are already hustling but have no legal structure, this will be for you. And for those of you who want to start a business, but you don't know what you want to do, this will be for you. Because when you do the holding company first, you got time because you want to get that age of the holding company. You want your company to be old. So that'll be one of the first things that we'll create or rearrange or revise. Then we will get into building the operating company. And we'll talk about that. And then we'll get into some esoteric stuff like how you can create a holding company that nobody knows you own. Should you go to Florida and form your corporation? Possibly. No state taxes. There's a lot that we're going to go over, and it's going to blow your mind because I'm going to give it to you in an insane and sensible way that makes sense. Because right now, there are some of you who are in the position to save 5 or 10 G's next tax season right now. 5 G's is extra $600 per month. 10 G's, that's like $900 per month. That could be the money to get your business and your hustle rolling. Imagine that. Well, even making any more money, but just by rearranging some stuff, you can pull money from the government back into your life. How cool is that? All right. So the links are below. Once again, you can do $290 for 20 months, get Hustle Undergrad. You get all this plus a lot more. Or if you just want the corporate stuff, for right now, it's $99 times 15 months. And once I start doing webinars, the price will go up. And I will let you know. We'll let you know what's going to happen. All right. So let me get into this. What's up, Johnny Walton? Appreciate you. Be real. What's up? Hard Breakdown. I see you've been back for the last 3 or 4 streams. What's up, Edward Koch? Ann, Christian, Pharaoh, Richard Mayfield, and explain LLC versus DBA. DBA is you go to the state and you register a name. DBA can be done as a sole proprietor, or you can do a DBA with an LLC. It's just like, say you have an LLC and you don't really feel like creating another one. Why? I don't know. It's so easy. And you just like, okay, Ann Holdings is doing DBA as Ann's Cupcakes. That's all it is. It's like $30 to $100. What's up, Green Machine? What's up, Monica? All right, Joe Ray. All right, y'all having that conversation. What's up, Farrell? Farrell, what question should we ask a lawyer? That'll be in the course. Like I said, I'm not giving this away for free, and I'm going to tell you why. If I don't hold you accountable, you will not be accountable. I could go ahead and drop this stuff in, and most of you ain't going to do nothing with it. But you got to start paying. All of a sudden, your attention is like focused. Cool Breeze Trust Owned Holding Company. Not in her case. No, it didn't. Christian, you're not checking your emails. You're not checking your emails. You got like 3 of them. Christian Alexander Fitness or something. I sent it because I deleted your post in the group. And yeah, don't be asking me about undergrad business in the group because I sent everyone an email. Yeah, I've uploaded everybody days ago. You're not checking your emails, man. What can I do? Matter of fact, can I? Let me see. All right, y'all got to work with me on this. All right. Let's go to sent. Christian at christianalexanderfitness.com. Sent at 1:16 p.m. Check your emails. Good living. Okay. All right. So for you folks who have a problem with Hustle Undergrad, email Glendon at hundergrad.com. Because see, good living, I don't know who you are. See, this is one of the things, and this is actually really good because this actually happened during the first launch. And let's talk about this. Login issues are huge for anyone doing any course. And this is where the customer service come in. This is why I kept it at 100 because I knew that these things would happen. So what you have to do is, what happens is, let's say email. We had a problem where the platform, I have the ability to send emails through the platform. They weren't getting to people. So I said, okay, so what I started to do is email people individually through Glendon at Hustle Undergrad. There's a special email just for Hustle Undergrad. And if you email me there and you're not signed up, I'm just going to delete your email. It's only for Hustler Undergrad students. And then sometimes people don't get the emails because they go in their spam folder. So there's a lot to it. And then once again, it's just 100. It actually went over. It's 105 people. And so far, like 25% have had login issues. Emails not getting to people. And I want you all to check your spam folder. Because sometimes if it looks like a commercial email, it'll go straight to your spam folder, especially if you're using Gmail. Farrell, that will be in the course. I am not giving none of this game. I mean, I've given away so much game for free for years. And a lot of you don't really recognize it because you didn't have to pay anything for it. Richard Fairfield, those levels are my motivation. I want the good phone calls, but I'm preparing for the bad as well. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. Sayabunga. At what stage can a business owner should look at you? Really? If you're well capitalized before you start your business. A good accountant can be invaluable, but all accountants are not created equal. As Meek Mill says, there's levels to this. D King, yes, there are. Because like I said, long as you're like under 100, nothing's really going to happen. You don't even have to go through this level. But the minute you start making money, like my situation, all right, I got to start pulling money out of the company because it's just I can't do it anymore. Good problem to have, but how I'm going to do it will blow your mind. What's up, Erica? Facts, facts, facts. CPA will hurt your feelings with truth. Glenn is spot on. You get the 10K to 20K a month, whole new game, insurance, CPA fees. Oh, yeah. Your life will change. Because the thing is, I believe that most of you can get to 250K a year. I believe most of you can get there. You ain't going to get there in a week. You ain't going to get there in a few months. And you're not probably going to take you a few years, but you can get there. And that level, a lot of things change. Thanks for the $10 beta males. D King, make money first, gain assets, second, third, rent out assets. That's one way to do it, but there's other levels. There's so many levels to this, as Meek Mill says. So many levels. Douglas Jones, there was a joker who came along. Yeah, see, all right, let's get into that real quick, and I'm going to get right back on topic. In the future, if your liver stops failing, if your liver fails, they will be able to grow you another one using your own tissue. That ain't been invented yet. You'll be able to get a new heart. You'll be able to get new skin. You'll be able to get new eyes. There is a whole classification of inventions that are coming based upon the fantasy technology right now. So I totally agree with Douglas. Everything has not been invented. You know, years ago, I read this in Ink. There was this guy who created this technology using glass and light. They said it was going to be a game changer. You know what that technology was? It's the thing that makes you able to touch your phone and for it to activate. It was an Asian dude that created this technology that is in every phone, every iPad, a lot of computers, touch screen technology on. It's everywhere. Never was invented before. So Pharaoh. With those, let's see. Hold on. Pharaoh Phoenix, no. Once again, I set up a new thing. I actually put this out here that if you wanted to be in Hustler undergrad, even if you had bought Hustlers, you had to get into it, because Hustlers was created in 2015, 2014, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2007. It's 2018. I can't keep just giving free information to people who are not using it. I can't keep giving free information to folks who are not opening their emails, and I can't keep giving who are just not paying attention to these streams. Stack the Flipper, you're right. Tripping over dimes, walking over dollars sounds like most of my family. I call them penny pinching dime spenders. They will have money, but will never fill that gas tank up. I actually talked about that lately. What's up, Joe Ray? Marquise, is it foolish to use some of your, what do you mean? Rephrase that question. I think I know what you mean, but that's kind of scary. What's up, Mr. Winters? Richard? Yeah, because once again, see, let me just go ahead and tell you. Everyone that got in at 150 is going to get the art of holding companies. And then after that, I can just tell you, then I'm going to do a sales program. Because one of the things that happened is I need people who are committed, because we're going to get into the weeds. I was just kind of like trying to build courses and give people the high notes, right? And I found out that wasn't enough. So we're going to have to get into, like, let's say a sales presentation. How many components are there to a sales presentation? Well, first, there's the audience. Then there's questioning the audience. Then there's creating content for the audience. And then there's putting the content out. That's just 4 steps just on the audience. So we're talking about a fully formulated sales process, like maybe 25, 30 steps. I was just kind of giving people the highlights and thinking like they'll get it. And like people, and I had someone sit me down and just say, look, you got to break it down to me like I'm a 2-year-old. I'm not a 2-year-old, but I need it broken down like that, because When you make these leaps and you think I get it, I don't get it. So that's what we're going to do. What's up, Rick James? Thank you, Marquise, for the $5 super chat. JP, I barely got in at 150. I'm jumping for joy. Jakeem, Ben Israel. Yes. I will be doing the course on publishing, copywriting. That's currently going to come in digital money right now. Because one of the things that I am doing is creating evergreen content based on the principles that are not going to change. Technology changes. How we deploy technology changes. But people, we don't change. So all this stuff is predicated on people and their behaviors. You're funny, plus. I probably never will touch on getting grants. I'm not into that game. Thank you for the $5, Mr. Winters. What's up, Davida? Smooth Service LLC, what's up? All right, cool. Johnny Wall, matter of fact, I saw a 20 bill in the parking lot today and picked it up, man. You lucky. You know, I used to find money all the time. Not so much now. Actually, Maurice, this is what happens. Sometimes people put an email address and they're off on one letter. That happens. So it becomes real hard to figure out how to fix it, because since you have the wrong email address, you can't reset it. So I understand that. There are many people who have multiple Christian's got 4 email addresses, and I think he forgot which one he signed up for. So you have people who will sign up for something in one email address to keep it separate, because this is why I created the Glendon at H undergrad, to keep all that stuff in one spot and nothing else, because my email box be running over. So it's possible, man. It is possible. Plus one, how can you get a business loan if your businesses don't have cash flow? You got a job, you can get a business loan. Yo-Yo Clock eBay. Look at you. You came from way back. I will be discussing that at length in the art of holding companies. And it's a good question because it's very important. Marquise, I have a couple credit cards with higher APRs. Looking at numbers, would it be cheaper to borrow again? No, don't do that. Number one, I don't tell anyone to mess with their 401k money and nothing like this. What you should do is create a hustle to make that money, to make those payments. Yes, I do. Once again, for people who are coming in late, you can go back, because like 150, I did that because I knew that I would get a lot. And since it's just me, there's some people who think Patty's still here. Patty hadn't been here since, I think, January. And I knew that I had to have it set up where I can do it, because when I hire someone, I want to work out all the bugs and kinks. Because I will be hiring someone to communicate with people and do certain things. But before I hire this person, I'm going to have a employee handbook. I'm going to have a set of notes. So it's like, instead of they coming back to me saying, hey, Glenn, what about this? What about this? It's like, that's on page. Well, first, your first duty is to read this book, your first day of employment. So what I'm doing is creating a whole new system, because many people want to, quote, automate before they build anything. And it's hard to automate when you don't know what's coming, how it's coming. Like, this thing. I knew that people logging in issues, I knew that was going to be big. And that's why I said 100, because I did not want to go ahead and pop this for 500 people and then have like 150, 200 people with login issues. People like, look, man, you said, it's going to be 24 to 40 hours. It's been 5 days. Because every time someone comes at me like that, I just show them a screenshot because the thing is, when you add them, it has the date. And I had one person who apologizes like, oh my God, you must think I'm a crazy person. I said, no, not really. If I paid $150 per month and I didn't get my stuff, I'd be freaking out too. This is business. This is what happens because you hear all these people talking about all these online courses and they never talk about this stuff. You know why? Because they ain't making as much money as you think they are. Because this is going to happen to anybody. People are going to sign up. People are going to forget their login information. And also a new problem to be solved is that everybody is not getting the emails from MailChimp. So I got to solve that problem. Once again, it's easier to solve with a small group of people than if I open this thing wide open. But yes, the next 95 you can get for $290. It's $290 per month for 20 months. And that will get you everything. Because see, once you buy the Hustler Undergrad program, anything that I do, the holding companies, they're going to get that. And I'm going to do the holding companies first. Then when I do the sales training, they're going to get that. And that, because the thing is, I'm doing it in a logical progression because if you're serious about your business, you can create a holding company right now. Then you create an operating company once you figure what you want to do when you grow up. Because you want to get this holding company, you want to get all that stuff set up, because once you start hustling and once you get busy, it's going to be a pain in the ass. I hate because when I first set my stuff up, I had to go to the bank because I had signed the paperwork wrong and they were getting ready to shut down my accounts. So I had to go down there, and every time I go down there for stuff, it's always an hour or two. And he just starts, he's like, okay, I need to be in the office. So this is like the time to do this stuff is now, because once you get cranking, time's going to be in short demand. So yes, Smooth Services, you can get into the Hustler Undergrad. But once again, you have two choices. If you just want the holding company stuff and you don't want Hustler Undergrad, $1,500, but it's $99 times 15 months. Or you can jump in for these 95 slots at Hustler Undergrad, because I went 5 over. And there's a reason I'm doing this, because probably when I get to 300 people, I'm going to hire someone and I'll have all this stuff worked out. But right now, I don't know what's coming, how it's coming, and that's why I'm doing it myself. But I have to have it in a manner where I can do it, because I was adding people as they came in and sending out these emails and found out that didn't work. So I was like, okay, so now the new thing is I send them an email from Glendon at Hustler Undergrad, and that seems to cut down a lot of the problems, except for Christian. Because I sent him one at 116, he's still asking. So I don't know if it's going in his spam folder or what. Oh, yes, Mr. Winters, is 100% different. Here's the thing. I have been a saint. My boy Derek Shop used to say it. I have been giving people great information for years and not charging them. And once again, people are not using it. So I'm depleting myself and not getting renewed. So what I'm doing now is every month you're going to get new training. Every month. Who knows? I might even go ahead because the thing is, just depending, because right now my flow is getting much, much better, but I've been working out, and I even talk about that. So I might go ahead and say, look, you folks who got Hustle Undergrad, I may throw you all off in digital money when I get to it. See, this is because I got a lot of people who think long term. Yeah, but people think short term, because it's like, okay, how can I get the most without paying anything? Then I got another group of people who gonna pay, and these same people are gonna work very, very hard, and I like that. So it's interesting. Yeah, Richard, it's gonna be, because essentially what I'm gonna be doing is filling in all of the gaps for that stuff, because there are gaps. All right, Yo-Yo Clock eBay. Rob, I wish I would have built a system before I started my business side hustle. I've already worked, but it's hard to find young guys that actually want to do the work. And this is another reason that I have limited it, because I know when I do hire that person, it's going to be a challenge. See, one of the reasons that so many people fail in business is they expect things to be easy when they're not. I expect to hold interviews and folks not to show up. This is part of the process. So when you know it's coming, it's not so bad when it comes. Cool Breeze, what do you know about irrevocable and revocable living trust? I know quite a bit. Pharaoh Phoenix, what's an operating company? How does it work and why do you need it? Remember, well, you weren't here. Essentially, you want to create as much separation between your person and your personal assets and your business. Having a naked LLC can be easily invalidated because there are no specific articles of an organization. So having a holding company and then having an operating company is 2 layers away from you. So if you get sued, it's like, well, we got this covenant, we've got this, there's no commingling of funds. So it just makes your stuff bulletproof. And that's why you need one. Thank you, Mr. Winters. Pretty much, Robbie Rob, that's what you got to do. Truth, to compensate for those who do not show up, you have to invite so many more for the same time slot. Yeah. So that's what it is. And the next one, no one has bought yet because I took Sunday to add people, communicate with folks. So there are 95 slots for the Hustle Undergrad. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Once I work out this process, because right now, all this is just, traffic from you guys, YouTube traffic. There's no paid traffic on this. I did one launch of coaching. And then another launch immediately after the coaching. I'm going to tell you exactly why I did that. And I'm doing another launch. So this is 3 launches. Now, I don't like the launch model where you buy a bunch of paid traffic and then you work like a maniac where the point you're literally physically exhausted. I had a friend who did a launch. He was in the hospital a week after the launch. I hate that. I don't like it. So I like more evergreen, more long-term relationships. So I'm going to do these launches because what's going to do is provide me the income to build a better system to then put paid traffic on it. Because I mean, 105 people, that's $16,000 worth of reoccurring revenue for 20 months, plus the money I made from the coaching. See, like someone who was talking about taking money out of his 401k. I wanted to set this business up. So instead of going like, well, let me take money from this. No, I was like, how can I make more money with what I have? And I ask myself that question every day. I can even tell you for the gear. Last time we did the gear, it was problematic. So this time I'm going to create a Shopify store for the gear. And everyone that is in the Hustler Undergrad program, because I got everyone segmented by email address, like the Hustler Undergrad, that's one email list. The art of holding companies, that's another email list. So once I get the shirts together, then I can be like, okay, you go to Shopify. Here's your coupon. So you're going to have to put in all of your stuff, your address and everything, print up a sheet. And then whoever I hire can ship that out. I'm building as many processes as I can because last time we did this, it was just too much work. It was too much coming back to me, I was like, okay, how can I build this better? And also I'm giving you business lessons because the thing is, this is what I'm currently doing. I'm not going to teach you something I'm not doing. Because once, because the way the course is set up is what makes the most sense to do first. Then what makes the most sense to do second. So one, get your holding company, get your hustle. Then once your hustle shapes up, get your operating company. Then, it's like there's a lot more. There's a lot that's coming. Barfield, can you make a naked LLC? Yes, you can. We're going to talk about that in the course. We will. So, okay. So from the top, there are 95 Hustler, because I didn't put it in it, but there's 95 slots for Hustler undergrad, because as each price level, the number of people who are going to get in it is going to drop. Once again, I set it up like that. And then if you don't want Hustler undergrad, then you can go down and get $99 times 15 per month. I'm not going to change the price until I say, look, tomorrow I'm doing the first webinar, and then the price will go up after that. So you got time. I may do it this Friday, just because I got a lot of consulting. I finished up all my consulting calls, and then I did this stream. So we're not going to be doing this many videos here. And that's another reason I did it that way, because I knew that the video counts were going to go way down, probably 2 a week. Yeah, this is real business now. We're gonna talk about that, Richard. You're in the course. It's gonna blow your mind how we're gonna handle that. So I would say, when the course, because I will. Matter of fact, let me just screenshot that, because I will address that. We'll talk about that in the course. And this is why I'm thinking about speeding it up, because a lot of people have questions. You know what happened to the Alabama hat? I got to start repping my brand. I currently have donated all of my Hustle Camp shirts. And once I get off this, I'm going to go to a place and I'm going to have another shirt made. Like, the gear is going to be very different for Hustle undergrad. It's going to be way different than it was before. So I'm repping my own brand. You know, I was actually watching Alabama 1993 championship against Miami. I remember that game. We were supposed to have the brakes beat off of us. Nah, it was a rout in Alabama's favor. All right, you got your marching orders. You know what to do. 95 slots and an unlimited amount of slots for the art of holding companies. So with that, I'll see you guys later. All links below. There's a description below. So peace out.